If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning. It's your girl Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration and juice. It is April 11th, 2023, and today the topic is how to love my neighbor. Good morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday. I hope that you all had a great Monday. Mine was just fine. You know what? Not too much happened yesterday, but at the same time, something significant happened. I had a really good conversation with a repeat guest, and I think, I'm glad that we were able to have the conversation and everything like that. Maybe I'll get more into some of the details about that in the after show, but as of right now, I'm just saying that I had a good episode of GSL yesterday. Really meaningful conversation, and yeah, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be in this place doing this thing called GSL. So, outside of that, not too much to report. I mean, I chit-chatted with my mom, worked on some different tasks, be a mom, be a wife, that's about it. That's about it. So let's get into this conversation about how to love my neighbor. So that's interesting thing is, ultimately, I was saying that I came to this topic today based on yesterday a little bit. It kind of, I felt like confirmation in my heart and mind to continue the conversation from yesterday. Like I've been telling y'all, like I've been hearing this theme about loving God and loving others for the past few weeks now, and I've been sharing it here and there, but obviously it's important to take a deep dive into this. And I shared with you all yesterday about how simple I feel like this request is in a lot of ways. I know when I said it in the midst of the performance that I did on Sunday for the kids, it just was like, Jesus' message was simple. Love God, love others. Like, just that simple. But it's not that simple, at least to us, right? Because if it was that simple, then we all would do it in X, Y, and Z. And I think that's what kind of, as I was reflecting on all of this today and looking over these verses and everything, what was coming to me is I think that this is what makes it a little bit hard, because everybody doesn't do it. Being told, right, to do this and do the things that are in these verses that I'm going to get ready to share, it don't feel fair. It don't feel right. It don't feel like we as humans should do it because other people don't do it. But on the flip side, God is telling us to do it regardless of if other people do it. And so that's the thing, at the end of the day. So I guess that's what stood out to me the most as I did this little study or whatever the case is. And I'm sure the Lord's going to share more with us this morning through all of this. But yeah, y'all, how to love my neighbor. I don't know if anybody else is asking that question today. But yeah. Hopefully by the end of this conversation, we'll have some ideas. So, like I said, that's where the inspiration came from. Started looking up verses at one of my main places. And yeah, I went a little deeper when it came to a few things as well. So I guess we can go ahead and get into it, y'all. Let's go ahead and get into this conversation. How to love my neighbor. So one of the first verses I felt led to share this morning is Luke 10:27. It says, "And he answered, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself." So I know shared this verse yesterday. And here it is again today, right? But not only, as a repeat verse, but it's just pretty much continue. Lord, I rebuke anything trying to choke me right now, sharing this message with your word, with your people, because this is just, it's crazy. Like, I promise y'all, before I started recording, everything was fine. I'm breathing fine and everything. Now all of a sudden, I'm choking, my nose is running, all this little extra stuff. I rebuke it in the name of Jesus. We getting this out today. So here we go. So again, not only, okay, well, I'm repeating this from yesterday, yes, but I'm just pretty much continuing the statement from yesterday. So we know this, like, this is what Jesus says. Like, this is ultimately the commandment, the new covenant, right? Love God, love others. That's it. Then it goes on to say, love your neighbor as yourself. Yes, it does imply that you love yourself. I think, again, all of our actions show that we have love for ourselves, majority of us. Now, some of us are struggling with that too, so I'll acknowledge that. But for the most part, I would say the majority of us love ourselves. So if we understand the concept of loving ourselves, then, this verse here is saying love your neighbor as yourself. So, again, just breaking down that verse is pretty deep all by itself, because what does this look like? I guess the Lord wants to break it down today. I don't know. So let's look at it, y'all. Let's look at it. It says, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart. So with all your heart, you should love the Lord our God. What does this look like? With all our heart, just our heart. I think, now this is just me speculating based on this verse here. Loving God with all my heart, if I'm wondering what that would look like, if I'm trying to figure out a way to explain like what that would look like, I say perhaps acknowledging him, right? Acknowledging him in everything we do would be loving God with my heart. Because the word says that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So if the love of God is in our heart, it will come through our words, it will come through our actions, it will come through everything. So it would have to start there. So then if we go to this next part of this, it says, with all your soul. I mean, that's with everything within us, right? That's our whole being. Like, and again, it will be a reflection, right? It means that our soul is us. The us that's within us. And I don't know how y'all feel about it, but I'm assuming, right, based on, again, Bible and everything else, that we would need to choose to love God. Our being, our soul, in our soul. So then it also say with all of your strength. Now, I know the word tells us that, we get our strength from the Lord. However, I don't know, this is deeper. Like, when you breaking it down like this is very interesting to try to break this down and like figure out what that looks like, just breaking down the verse there. So with all your strength, I'm a little bit stumped at the moment about all your strength. Like, I don't know if there's a way to break it down even more. I mean, I'm sure there is, because obviously the Lord broke it down. But I don't know in my mind right now, can I do that? And speaking of mind, it ends with saying, with all your mind. So I would say, again, putting my mind on the Lord, taking every thought captive, like the Bible tells us to do, things of that nature. And then it says, and your neighbor. So then you're doing all of that towards God, and then loving your neighbor as you love yourself. So, and again, this is reiterating again the idea that you love yourself. So love your neighbor as you would love yourself. So speaking of that, let's go on to 1 John 3:18. Okay, so it says, little children, let us not love in word or talk, but in deed and in truth. So I would say not only just loving God, right? Let us not just love God in word and talk, but in deed and truth, as well as loving our neighbor in deed and truth as well. I ended up going deeper by looking up the definition of deed. And this is what it says. It says an action that is performed intentionally or consciously. And then when I looked up consciously, it said in a deliberate or intentional way. So there you go. We got to love God and love others intentionally and consciously. So not just in word, but in deed and in truth. So this is reminding me of the conversations I've been having over the past few weeks, but this is the thing. It's one thing to say you love God, right? And then nothing about your life shows that. Versus saying you love God and then everything about your life shows that. Maybe even going back to that other verse, your heart, your soul, your strength, your mind, all those things are a reflection of your love for God and love for others. This might be deep and heavy. I don't know. Is this Pope this morning? Is this too hard for us? Obviously it is. There's something about this that is like hard for us as humans. And like I said, what I was saying earlier is that I feel like part of that comes because it's like it'll be a totally different situation if everybody was intentional about showing love in deed and truth. Like if everybody did that, then nobody would feel slighted. Nobody would feel like, oh, I'm doing it, but they're not doing it. So it don't feel fair. It don't feel right, that I'm showing love, but nobody's showing love to me, and stuff like that. I can understand how it feels unfair sometimes, but I guess the thing is, it's like one of those. It's reminding me of this poem that my mom had me to read back in the day about. I call it like somebody, everybody, anybody, nobody. But I'm sure it's broken down another way. And I read it online. So if y'all follow me on social media or whatnot, I think I got a video of me reading the entire poem and whatnot. But basically, I'm reminding of it in this moment, because the more we go around and talk about what everybody else is not doing, and we feel justified by not doing that thing because nobody else is doing it, then it would never get done. And that's why we're in the place that we are today. Like, because we're all pointing the fingers at others and being like, well, they're not doing it, and in a way trying to justify our actions of not doing it. When that isn't what God is calling us to do. So that's just, listen, I didn't know we was getting this deep today. I didn't even think about that this morning as I was writing down these verses, but that just came out in this moment. So hey, there you go. I guess we all feeling a little convicted this morning. Ooh, I'm stepping on my own toes. You know what? I was thinking to myself. I want to say, I don't know if it's this week, but I think it is. I think this week is Love Week at Mountain West, and I saw a post. I think it was yesterday. On their Instagram, they were challenging people to go and like introduce themselves to their neighbors and stuff like that. And I told y'all, I've been telling y'all that I'm falling short in that area. Like I still don't really know my neighbors. I guess I needed to go and try to make this thing happen. I need to get my son, maybe even get my whole little family, and we just go around to the different houses and introduce ourselves. Because, one, that challenge that Mountain West put out there to the members to do something like that. But not only just introducing ourselves, but, seeing if we can be of service in any aspect. Like, that's true love in some ways. Like, that's putting action right behind the words. Whew, I'm putting this out there. I might need to, I guess this going to hold me accountable on if I do this or not. Should I put myself on a time limit on what I should do it? Like, Miracle, do this before the end of the week. And if I don't come back and tell y'all that I did this, then y'all can obviously point the finger at me and be like, well, Miracle, you in to show love this week. I don't know. Is that a challenge that I'm putting before myself? Y'all, look, y'all comment below. Comment below on if I need to challenge myself to do this thing this week. And y'all hold me accountable. And if y'all want to hold me accountable with doing this, comment below, throw me some hearts, throw me some comments, or whatever the case is, and be like, yeah, Miracle, do it. Now I'll put it back on y'all. But there it is, y'all. But yeah, so loving our neighbor not only in talk but in deed and in truth. So let's keep going, y'all, because there's more verses. So then Romans 15:2, it says, let each of us please his neighbor for his good, to build him up. Whew. Listen, again, we don't even know our neighbors, so how we gonna build our neighbors up, right? How we gonna please our neighbor? Here's the thing. I don't know. Is this my loophole? I feel like I know y'all, whoever's listening to the sound of my voice, as well as those that comment on here or those that tune in frequently, whatever. I feel like y'all are my neighbors as well. It's not just the people that live around me, right? It's everybody, right? Are my brothers, sisters, neighbors. So how can we build each other up in general? It's not just, the people that live around us. I know it's easy because we call these people our neighbors, and so it's easy to automatically think about the people that live around us. But it's everybody. It's every single person is our neighbor when we really think about it. Like, it's funny. I think it's in the Go Deeper section. It is that account about the lawyer questioning Jesus about that. Like, well, who's my neighbor? Like, we like to kind of, I guess, again, justify ourselves and our actions by thinking that, okay, well, our neighbor may be this person and not this person. No, our neighbor is everybody, according to what I'm receiving. Like, y'all can confirm whether this is right or wrong. Y'all can seek the Lord about whether y'all, God is confirming that to you, that every single person is our neighbor and brother and sister and things like that. Now, maybe they might not be our brother and sister in Christ, depending on where people are spiritually, but that's a whole nother thing. But overall, our neighbor is every single other person on earth, really. So, so how can we build up our neighbor, right? How can we, it says here, let each of us please his neighbor for his good, to build him up. So that's why it's so important. I know, again, I reflect on this quote and things that people say all the time, because people don't think that what we do matters. People don't think like, what I do don't affect you. Yeah, it does. Yeah, what you do does affect me. Even again, the conversation I had with the lady yesterday, she's in Texas and, I'm in Georgia, and, there's no other way that I would have met her outside of doing this what I'm doing with the juice and GSL and everything like that. And the thing is, it's like, I could have been selfish. Like, okay, for example, she came to the show. I might as well tell y'all her name at this point. It's Miss, her name just went away from my mind. Maybe I shouldn't tell y'all her name. No, her name is Miss Daisy. So Miss Daisy, y'all can watch her previous episode with us. Y'all can learn more about her. She's going through a terminal situation and everything like that. She explains it all in the previous episode that she did on the GSL talk show. So by all means, go check it out and learn more about her and her testimony. And she's also written a book about it as well. But anywho, but since then we've kind of communicated, here and there, sent some emails. I noticed that she's tuned in to the juice. She's commented on some things in regards to different things I posted on GSL and whatnot. And so I hadn't talked to her since last year, at least face to face or video to video. But I noticed yesterday when we talked, she was sharing how much it meant to her for being able to tune into the juice, or how much it meant for us to be able to still communicate after our first conversation and things like that. She even mentioned me in her new book and things. So I'm like, wow, to God be the glory for that she would even, think of me to do that, and stuff like that. And so it's just, you just never know, like, the impact that you can have on someone else just by being you, right? Just by the things you do and say. It does have an impact. Ooh, Lord. All right. So here go a hot button issue. And I know here it is. But here it is. So anyway, I came across this post. It was sometime last week, or it might have been over the weekend. And apparently, I don't know if you all are familiar, but there's this movement called, oh man, it just went, it's, it went away from my mind. Okay, well, I can't remember the name of the movement at the moment, but it's basically a group of ex-LGBT individuals have got, grouped together to share about their testimonies and share about, what the Lord has done for them. And I haven't seen all the details about this, so I'm not going to go too deep about the subject, but I'm just giving an example of what it looks like for you and your choices to matter. So apparently the creator of the group, or maybe one of the founding members of the group, has decided to go back into the lifestyle. And I guess they posted on social media about it. And obviously the entire group, they had to, I guess, put out a disclaimer or something along those lines to acknowledge that the person, and whatnot, and what they have decided to do. And obviously people are having conversations about it and praying for the individual, but also there's people. The thing is, it's like this person, they are going through their own journey. And yes, it's their own, thing, so no judgment from me regarding what the person is going through. Because again, I understand it can be difficult to, be in something, and then, the Lord is changing your life, and you're changing, but at the same time you're struggling. And it's, we're humans out here, you know what I'm saying? So there's no judgment from me. All I'm saying is that this choice of this individual is obviously affecting more people than this individual himself or herself. You know what I mean? It's affecting everybody that's in the organization. It's affecting everybody that the organization has reached, and on and on and on. And so that's the thing. Like, even let's just go back to me, right? Because it's easier to just share my testimonies, right? So even me, right? This might be a funny way to do it, but okay. So y'all know that I do this every day, right? For the most part, Monday through Saturday, I do the juice, by the grace of God. To God be the glory, right? But there's been some days that I, either took an intentional rest, like a couple of years ago on my birthday. When I went on my birthday trip, I was intentional about not doing the juice, right? I was like, okay. And I made several announcements and let y'all know that, hey, I'm not going to do the juice on these days, X, Y, and Z, because I'm going to take a vacation. Now there's been some days that I might have missed. So there was one day that I woke up late, and I just posted. I just was like, well, y'all, no juice today. Y'all would act like, it's so funny because I don't get much feedback about the juice. Like, there's people that comment every now and then, but I don't really know who listens. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know who tunes in and stuff, because not saying nobody talks, because some people do talk, but what I'm saying is that it's not that I get a whole bunch of people commenting every day on the things that I'm saying on here, right? But that particular day, when I just posted on social media that, hey, no juice today. People was commenting like, oh. I know my mom. Oh, did I lost my my hair wrap in the midst of this. That's funny. Anyway, I didn't even realize it. But anyway, I know my mom was like, oh, wait a minute, no juice. Like, people was commenting like, you okay? Like, what do you mean no juice? And stuff. And that's the thing. You just never know the impact that you have on people just by being you. So I guess I just need to reiterate that today, y'all. Because at the end of the day, I guess the Lord is asking us to acknowledge our neighbors, or to, I know there's plenty of verses as well that tells us to, put our neighbors above ourselves, and think more highly of others than ourselves, and things like that. And yeah, so that's what that looks like, right? If I, for example, you all are another thing that holds me accountable to do what I said I was going to do back in 2020, right? I said I was going to do daily inspiration Monday through Saturday, So, yes, I do it for me, right? It's something that I'm doing for myself, and it's something that has been a life-changing experience that I'm having with the Lord. But the fact of sharing it, and the fact of actually going live, and all of this is for whoever my neighbor is watching, listening, and all of that. You see what I'm saying? So it's just, I don't know. I'm just trying to give y'all examples of what it looks like to acknowledge our neighbor in everything, as acknowledge God first, right? And then also acknowledging our neighbors in our choices and different things that we do in life. And anyway, all right, let's keep going, because there's more. But wait, there's more. So Romans 5:8. It's, oh, no, let's not skip this one. Hold on. John 15:13. It says, greater love has no one than this, that someone laid down his life for his friends. Ooh. Listen, listen. Like I said, the only individuals that might have a little bit of understanding of this is people that serve in the military, maybe even people that on on the police force, fire, service jobs like that, and then perhaps yeah, Jesus himself, Outside of that, like I don't see too many people laying down their life in regards to death, actual death, for others. Now, but laying down your life maybe doesn't have to be also the finite of death, right? It could just be laying down your life in regards to, hey, I'm laying down my sleep time right now, right? To do this, right? Or laying down, your life to go and do something or be light to someone else, right? And so, just saying, there's deeper ways to think about it, but when you do think about that ultimate sacrifice of death, I mean, that's on a whole nother level, right? And like I said, few actually can even, I guess, relate to doing that, because there are individuals that are sacrificing their life for us, right, for the greater good of humanity, and all this different type of stuff. And so, yeah, just things to think about, y'all. Just things to think about. So let's go down now to Romans 5:8. It says, "But God shows His love for us, that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." So again, Jesus is the ultimate sacrifice, the ultimate example of what this looks like. Now he did his thing for all of us, and so I don't know if we're necessarily called to do that exact thing in regards to death, but again, I think thinking deeper about ways to lay down your life, right, lay down your rights for someone else's wrongs, all that different type of stuff, might be what we're called to do in honor of what Christ did for us. Again, showing grace, mercy, and all those things, because we received grace, mercy, and all those things. Yeah. So, anywho, let's keep going. 1 John 4:21. It says, "And this commandment we have from Him: whoever loves God must also love his brother." So there you go. Yeah, if you say you love God, we need to be showing love to one another. That would be proof that you truly love God, in my humble opinion. Now, that's my humble opinion right there. But let's see. 1 John 4:7, it says, "Beloved, let us love one another, for love is from God, and whoever loves has been born of God and knows God." So, I mean, this goes on and on and on, y'all. I mean, there's plenty of verses that centered around, loving your neighbor and showing love to one another, and telling us that is an example of God, and that is a true example of your love for God and for others. So yeah, it says here plainly to me, whoever loves has been born of God and knows God. And here's, so in the Go Deeper section, there are like some more examples of love in general, as well as I don't know if I put the verses about love being if you don't have love, you're like a clanging cymbal. I don't think I put that one, but there's some other ones that go deeper about just the concept of love, and then love for others. And so I hope that you guys check those verses out, and let them marinate on your heart, souls, and minds. I got just a couple more, y'all. Just a couple more. Let's see. Galatians 6:10. It says, "So then, as we have opportunity, let us do good to everyone, and especially to those who are of the household of faith." So, I mean, that's ultimately the juice this morning, y'all. If you have an opportunity to do good, do it. Showing love for your neighbor, laying down your life for your neighbor, being intentional, right, and conscious about the love for God and your neighbor. That's ultimately the juice this morning. If we're wondering how to love our neighbor, I hope that these things encourage us and inspire us today of some ways, some practical ways, hopefully, to start tapping into what it looks like to truly love our neighbors. Because, hey, there you go. That's the juice, y'all. That is the juice. Now, the Bible verse of today is John 6:35. It says, "And Jesus said unto them, I am the bread of life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. Did you know that you can support us for just 99 cents a month? That's right, friends. You can support everything that we do here at GSL for just 99 cents a month. Take a look around wherever this post is. You might see a link or maybe even a button that says support. Go there, check out the options, consider supporting us because, we enjoy bringing you all the daily inspiration as well as the weekly talk show, but we have much, much more to come. Thank you so much for the consideration. Bye-bye.